Hope you guys can read that.
Simo's here.
Yes.
I can read it up.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey guys, this is The Villain's the Man. We're going to bring you another movie review today over Justice League, Gods Among Us.
It's Gods and Monsters.
Oh, my bad.
Are we calling you Dr. Kerry Whorton again? I meant to ask that.
Gods and Monsters. That's why I keep mentioning
Gods and Monsters. You want me to set that case up over there so you can see?
No, I'm good. Gods and Monsters.
Didn't we call you Dr. Whorton?
That'll work, that'll work.
Didn't we call him Dr. Whorton?
Dr. Whorton?
I can't remember what it was last time.
Yeah, we do that.
Okay. I thought it was Dr. Whorton, because usually it's, yeah, your phone goes Dr.
Gods
Whorton.
and Monsters. Okay. Yeah, I got it this time.
Gods and Monsters. Okay.
Hey guys, this is The Villain's the Man. We're going to bring you another movie review today over Gods and Monsters. It's a DC animated film.
Justice League, Gods and Monsters. You just say Gods and Monsters.
That's what this movie's called, ain't it?
Yeah.
Justice League, Gods and
But you just said Gods and Monsters.
Oh, my bad. And I got bit by a bug.
It's probably a ladybug.
All right.
It's a Chinese beetle.
We'll try it again.
Gods, Justice League.
I don't know why I didn't say Justice League. I thought it was, actually called, I thought it was called Gods and Monsters. I didn't know it was
Well,
Justice League.
you're kind of right.
All right, we'll get it right this time.
Take 3.
Nah.
Oh, and then when you're done, I guess I'll go into that it's not really based off a comic book and stuff.
All right.
And then I guess you can start, when I'm done, you can start talking about whichever character first.
Alright.
So, go for it, Evan.
Hey guys, this is Villain's the Man. We're here to bring you another movie review. Today we're going to do it over Justice League, Gods and Monsters. I'm Evan the Great. This is Justin Von Doom, and this is our extra today, Dr. Whorton.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Unlike most of the DC animated movies, this is not based off of any story in DC continuity or an Elseworld. It's off its own thing. Besides the film itself, there are 3 shorts based on the 3 characters, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, since they are different than your typical DC characters. And since the film has been out, there's also been now comic books based on this movie.
The first character I was going to talk about was Batman, but this has basically a totally different story than the Batman we know as Bruce Wayne and his origin story, which most anybody knows. It's Kurt Langstrom, who in the regular 52 universe, Earth 1 is the Man-Bat. And he's got a little bit different story.
He's very Morbius.
Yes, very much like Morbius from Spider-Man.
As you mentioned, yeah, he even has
He even has the same slick back hair. He even says plasma several times. That's a reference for anybody that was a Spider-Man the animated series 90s fan.
Plasma.
Felicia. But his without giving any spoilers to it, he just has a very different story to that than what he did. He goes to college with some his friend they went to college with, who was also a DC scientist.
They're all scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science plays a very big role in this entire movie, but that's pretty much Batman's origin in this film.
I like Batman a lot too. This version of Batman had the vampire powers. This Batman to me felt like he was almost more emotional than the regular Bruce Wayne. I don't know if these guys got that out of it.
Yeah, I can see that with Tina in a sense. They almost tied him to Bram Stoker's Dracula in a way with Mina.
Yeah.
He was very obsessed with her in a sense. I mean, that's just what I kind of took off of it.
I took that he was more obsessed with the science, but he connected with her. His friend, the scientist, was more... He wanted to be his friend, but he was kind of a jerk and wanted to live in an outside world. He was just based on the science, and maybe she was the only connection outside of that. You know?
Well, I kind of took it as it's that college dick move where, like, my buddy likes her and I'm going to fuck her. And it just kind of stuck.
Touche.
You know. The difference with one of the other characters, Superman, is now that Jor-El is not his father, but Zod is his father. And I made a lot of comic relief out of how this took down as Krypton was blowing up. They were going to ship their DNA, Jor-El and Mor-El, to planet Earth. Zod comes in, kills Jor-El, and shoots his wad out of his finger.
Artificially inseminated computer.
Yes. And and then they ship him off, and you know that he looks like Zod. And what I was getting to when we were watching it is, in the way the spaceship looks like sperm. It looks like a sperm cell.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But and what's also different about Superman now is he's take no prisoners, does not give a shit. He sees as himself above the law like the rest of the Justice League members do.
His origin was a lot different too, in the fact that it wasn't Jonathan
yeah.
Martha.
He's an immigrant.
It was
found by immigrants.
Mexican immigrants that found him and raised him. In fact, he even speaks a little Spanish in the movie.
And he even talks about that, how, you know...
He's seen a lot of hard times.
Yeah, and he's trying to, you know, prevent hard times in his own forms of justice.
Then also in the film with Superman, you have that Lex actually held back the kryptonite from him, and they gave a false one to him.
Yeah, the Kryptonian, yeah.
And that was an interesting fact, because Superman has been trying to learn everything he can off just a little bit, and then he finds out Lex has this, basically this laboratory full of it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that, you know, in the usual Earth 1 Superman-Lex relationship, it's that Lex sees Superman as a threat, and you know, he wants to eliminate him. To where in this world, Lex is not necessarily wrong.
No, he's not at all.
No.
But, and there's also not the hatred in a
Yeah,
sense
they do have a
between the
mutual
two.
respect.
And then in the end, it's almost like friendship, because Lex thanks him because he's tired of Earth and he wants to explore the universe.
Yeah, and because he helped Lex, you know, expand his mind, you know.
And then the other difference between the last character, Wonder Woman, is she's not Diana Prince. She's basically Big Barda.
Yeah, there's no Amazon.
There's no Amazon
whatsoever. In fact, that was probably my favorite part of the story, was her origin back on Apocalypse with the New Gods and all of that. That was probably my favorite part of the story.
Yeah, it's a change twist. You know, they're like, screw Darkseid, and they would
they were
expect
the
that
bad guys.
Darkseid and them to be the bad guys. And no, it's Highfather you know, that are the bad guys at all.
They definitely flipped the script on you there.
Yeah, it was quite surprising.
You know, her getting promised to keep Orion around, it kind of pushed her over the edge, and she used the sword for the first time to teleport out.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if her character being Highfather's granddaughter, if that's not an original character. I know Langstrom and Zod, or the son of Zod technically, those are kind of old characters. I don't know if she's new or not.
Big Barda?
Well, no, Barda was actually in the movie in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something
In a sense,
research yourself.
Yeah, but it's actually a really good point. I didn't think about it like that. But anyways, the movie goes, the Justice League, in a sense, kind of does what they want in the country. I guess the planet itself, they really don't get planet-wide that, you know, everybody's kind of, in a way, sick of them, and then the other half loves them, you know, waiting for them to rule the planet.
Sold merchandise.
Exactly. Yeah, like, they're protesting the guys like Bat Fangs, Mother Box Swords.
Yeah.
And that's pretty funny, and basically it's come to the point where these, which I've thought were parademons, are actually Owen Macy's, what I'm guessing they were.
Yeah.
Each one based on all three members of the Justice League are killing the scientist that Bruce Wayne had graduated. Kirk Langstrom had graduated with, and someone is setting them up and framing them.
And there was a lot of named DC scientists that played lesser roles that got murdered in the movie, like Victor Freeze. Mr. Freeze was one. I almost said Arnold Palmer. Ray Palmer, the Atom was another one of them. There were others. I think
Cyborg's dad, what's his name?
Yeah.
Silas Stone.
Yeah.
Because he's Victor Stone.
And I think in the big meeting with all the scientists, I believe Steele was in there as well.
Yeah, they didn't Henry Irons. Well, you see his name and more CC'd in the. There was a couple more of those that was dropped on there. Well, all the ones that are name dropped, if you watch the credits, like they're all name dropped in the credits with their names.
Yes.
But anyways, it goes on that the OMACs kill these guys. They're framing them while the government is building weapons based on. Well, technically, it's just to kill Superman is what they're worried about in a sense. Yeah. And come to find out, Will and his wife Tina were behind it all. Which Tina winds up being a T-1000 basically.
Yeah.
And
She's been dead for years.
Yeah, she's been dead for years, and actually he's the one trying to take out the Justice League, basically because he's jealous of Batman in a sense.
I like that feud they had, because he basically went from Batman's two only friends in life who he trusts to basically being the enemy of the whole story. And his love interest has been dead forever, and his best friend has actually been, I guess, injecting himself.
He's been
with an annex, yeah.
And then just sitting, they're behind it all. And I really like the scenes at the end of the movie more than the scenes at the beginning with the action scenes. Like when Wonder Woman's fighting the T-1000 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then when Superman had to fight his, it was neat how they did that.
How they combined together to make one badass OMAC.
Yeah. It was. I like the dynamic too that you go back to the same different worlds, but every time Batman loses the two people mean the most to him. And they didn't mention anything about his family or anything, but he was so close to the scientist and his girlfriend, who would later be his wife, and then to know that she's been dead and he's technically dead to him. He's not a man anymore. He's a machine or filled with nanites.
Yeah. The highlight for the movie with me, and it's almost in the sense with the rest of the DC animated, they get more violent as they go on.
It was extremely violent.
This is probably, I think, the most violent one.
Yes.
Because when we were watching where the OMACs...
Horrible ways to die.
Yeah.
God, man. Where they attack the scientists because Batman's kind of suspicious of what's going on. One of them shows up, and then the other two shows up, man, and it's a fucking slaughter fest. Like, you get, like, burning people alive,
ripping
and then
people apart.
Yeah, you're like, man, what? Evan's like, man, burning alive, that's gotta suck. And then they rip the dude apart, and he's like, no, that's probably the worst. You know,
tough call.
Yeah,
You be the judge.
And you know, like the last one, which was with Throne of Atlantis. That was violent. There's a lot of blood, but man, this just took it to a whole nother level. Even action-wise, it took it to a whole nother level.
And that is the greatness that I love about these movies, is that as a child, I grew up watching Batman animated series, Superman on the Justice League one.
Bruce Timm animation.
And then they grew, the genius of Bruce Timm, and then they grew up with us to give us these now. That,
they matured with the audience that grew up with them.
Yes. You know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend letting your child watch this.
No, and
parental supervision is advised.
Yes, we actually do have friends that do not allow their kids to watch
and that's
these
probably a good call.
because of the violence. And, you know, they're slowly starting to slip in the language.
Yeah, there was some.
Which bitch was added to this, ass, and they might as well said shit at one time, too.
Yeah. So.
Obviously, I don't think there was anything bad with the movie at all. Nothing that really... I mean, once the movie started, it was pretty fast-paced. It didn't really slow down. The mystery kept you going, which I couldn't figure out, honestly, who was behind it at all. Usually I get on that pretty quick. Well, it even had towards the middle, like he had talked about with Wonder Woman and the thing with Apocalypse and the New Gods and stuff, where you expected a dark side.
Story,
It just flips it around and completely will keep you guessing through the whole movie.
Yeah. It's not one of my favorite DC.
It's not the best, but it's by far not the worst.
It's definitely a watchable one. I personally hope they do more with these characters if they like.
I agree.
I do too.
Because animated-wise, I love all the Batman animated stuff they do, but this is actually one of my favorite Batman. It's not even Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. They took a template, basically, from Marvel. But it fit. And then they changed it up with his relationship status that he had, and they made that character very interesting, and then put him on the team. And then the other two characters are also interesting. The characters in general, I could see them doing more movies than just one.
And you could even add in some other...
And I would like them to add in other ones.
Well, even add in other characters, too, in that... Who else is in this DC universe that might be of help or even an enemy to the Justice League,
Yeah.
Well, and that's what... Going on that, you could add other characters, but towards the end, Wonder Woman leaves, and which you could automatically branch off to that.
Yeah.
And they could go and help her and whatnot. But the movie is like, man, we've got attitude, we're here to kick ass, take no names, and then it's almost they go back to like, okay, now let's go to be the good guys.
Yeah.
And that kind of in the end kind of drew me away from it because You know, you guys know me, I hate Superman, can't stand Superman. And now you get a Superman that's like, yeah, fuck you, I'm in your face. And then they take that away slowly from you towards the end.
It almost had the Justice Lords, Bruce Timm episode from the Justice League, but in the opposite effect where at first the Justice Lords they took control and then they were the rule. Then to where these guys were kind of in control and then they kind of stepped back to a degree.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I think that's about all we got, I think, guys.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say.
So, guys, just remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our YouTube page. We've been making a lot more of these reviews, movie reviews, and series reviews. Just keep up with it. If you want to send us a message, we're always on Facebook or Twitter. And just keep reading, y'all.
Remember, when you see aliens, make them put condoms on their fingers.
Correct.